of other Star Wars costuming groups, and then talk about making costumes and cosplaying to those standards, because their standards are quite high and specific, and also just about Star Wars costuming and Star Wars and fandom and how it's awesome and fun. So, hello there. For those of you who don't know me, all like 3 of you probably, I'm Morty, also known as DS32123, and I'll come back to that later, what that means. Just to start off with a disclaimer, this is not an official 501st UKG anything panel. Everything that I'm saying is entirely my own opinion and may not even necessarily be true because, you know, fact checking is hard. And also, like, I can only really talk about my experiences, so, you know, your mileage may differ. Depends who you talk to, depends what you're trying to submit. But yeah, basically, please don't fight me if I go first, I love you. Do this for you. So to start off, a brief history of the 501st. Start off with these 2 guys, Alvin and Tom. And basically, Alvin got in a car accident in before 1997, and lost a leg. And as part of his whole kind of dealing with that thing, bought a set of Stormtrooper armour. And so did his mate Tom, and they got together and they found that the response to full Stormtroopers at events was phenomenal. Everyone loved them. They looked really good in a pair. Like, one Stormtrooper was great, more Stormtroopers was better. And as word got out on like little GeoCities websites and little forums back in the early days of the internet, there were a couple of other guys around the country and Canada, and they formed basically the kind of early stages of the 501st. They met up at Dragon Con for the first time in 1998. There were like 10, 15 of them, and they formed the 501st Squad. So yeah, basically the 501st is 20 years old this year, August this year, and it now has, you know, nearly 12,000 active members across 61 countries, nearly 21,000 approved costumes. So it's big, and that is a map of the world, and every single coloured in bit has a garrison. It's not too big in Africa for some reason, so, but basically everywhere else seems to have some kind of membership. So this is the original first ever meet. Bless them. Those TKs. And this is the most recent photo taken at Star Wars Celebration. There was about 900 members there, and I'm there. Because I was really late, and the Huxes was somewhere else, so me, Kylo, and Amara J just snuck in there. But it's great, because it means I can find where I was really easily. Oh, what's next? So, a bit of a closer look at the map of the world. So here's all the garrisons, and the one that's in Africa. So that's us in the middle, we're UKG. And, yeah. Some of them have really, really cool logos, like the Korean outpost is just like a first order Stormtrooper. I'm not a badass. Yeah, the garrisons are cool. So basically there were so many of them, so many members beyond a certain point that they decided, hey, you know what, we need to kind of franchise this. So each garrison kind of runs under its own steam, under the banner of the 501st. So we've got the UK garrison. And yeah, they take care of themselves. They've got various different officers who have different positions who then kind of send word up the chain to get certain things approved. Yeah, just it's a lot easier, and it's just cool being part of a smaller subgroup. There are even smaller subgroups within the UKG. There are squads. There's the ISS, which is the Imperial Scottish Squad. Wales also have a squad, and also the Isle of Wight. Just the Isle of Wight on its own. Probably some other ones that I'm forgetting. So there's 501st, which are the big boys, or one of the big boys, but there are a couple of other costuming groups as well. There's the 99th Garrison, who me and my Stormtrooper friend over there are also a member of. There's the Joker Squad, Sentinel Squad UK, and if the bad guys don't do it for you, there's also Rebel Legion. There are also tons and tons. So the Rebel Legion is 501st, but the good good guys. So your rebel pilots and your Jedi and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great because in parades, all the bad guys have to be really formal and try and keep a straight face while everyone's being really excited. But the rebels just kind of walk on, just like, hey, it's awesome, this is awesome, have a great time. And we just have to suffer. Well, you can smile. It's the helmet face. But yeah, so if you don't want to necessarily hit up and go for the big leagues, you don't have to. There are tons of other costume groups, and the benefits are like there are a lot more local troops, smaller troops, more local members, and they'll have different kind of costume restrictions and kind of ways of getting in. So why bother? Why bother doing any of it? Raise money for charity. Yeah, the UKG raised shed loads of money. The 99th raised a shed load of money. And it all, like, literally everything we do is voluntary. Like, no one's paid to do it. We're all just a little bit mental, I think, and put ourselves through this charity a lot of the time. We also get to do some really, really cool events, local events. Recently, the 99th Garrison were at Blackpool Air Show, the parade, and if you go to Birmingham MCM at all, the 501st UKG get to do a really big parade around the MUC, and that's awesome and really good fun. We're also, because the 501st is kind of affiliated with Lucasfilm, and all of its kind of sub-affiliates and people who license stuff with Lucasfilm, they also request appearances at stores. So the Lego store and the Disney store do a lot of work with us, which is really good fun. I love it. Promotional stuff. UKG got to do some promotional work for Rogue One, walking around London as Stormtroopers in Canary Wharf because it was a movie. So that was fun. Weddings and funerals. People request Stormtroopers and Vader, specifically. Vader's very popular at weddings. Yeah, people want Stormtroopers at funerals too, which is bizarre but cool. And also, like, hospital visits, visiting sick children, sick people in hospital. I haven't done a hospital troop yet because genuinely I don't know if I could handle it, but apparently it's some of the most rewarding work. And the kids and the parents and everybody just love it. The staff love it. It just makes people's day, brightens days a little bit. Oh, and Spider-Man's not there. Long story short, there are costuming groups for everything. There are Avengers, there are Aliens, Colonial Marines, there are Judge Dredd groups. If you can think of it, probably out there's an official kind of hardcore group that does it the real deal. So check those guys out, have a look. If Star Wars doesn't turn you on, you know, pick something else out. The smiles on children's faces. Yeah, no, genuinely, I'm not the world's biggest fan of children, but it is really, really cool just seeing the little, and also the adults as well, just lose their tiny minds over seeing their favourite characters out loud. And yeah, we get to do, like, you know, premieres and stuff, so that's cool, I guess. Yeah, I need to get in on the Last Jedi premiere, or there's going to be blood, I think. Yeah, so, trooping. Trooping is the kind of bread and butter of the whole thing. The costume making and then trooping, that's kind of it. So, the way troops come in is people will request the presence of a costuming group through the events managers. They will look into the logistics, get some numbers rounded up. They'll see whether or not there's going to be any parking, what the changing facilities are going to be like, whether or not there's going to be any expenses, which is really cool, whether or not there's going to be any food, which is really cool. When they feed you, that's good. And then, yeah, kind of what they want us to do, where they want us to stand. Because some places are basically just like, get changed and just like go, be free. Whereas others are kind of, that's a Metro Centre troop. They had us on a pretty strict schedule of, right, we want you to be in Blue Mall by 12 o'clock, and then you're there, and then we move, and then you're here, and then we move. But that's also quite good, because you know exactly what you're doing, and you don't get troopers just lost, just gone in the shopping mall. Like, where's the trooper? But yeah, also the after party, well, kind of after party, everyone's tired and sore and sweaty and gross and hungry. But it's good fun, and yeah, it's just tired, sad faces on the right hand side. So yeah, the troops are basically, you've got your costumers, and you've got your crew. And your crew can come in two flavors of, you can have costume crew, so a lot of the face characters, officers, things like that will hold the bucket. And also just kind of uniform, I say uniform loosely, there's crew t-shirts, crew hoodies with a little logo on. Just standing around helping raise money. There's also usually a bucket right in the middle of the photo opportunity. So it's kind of like you have to walk past it twice to get a photo taken with people. So yeah, troops are good fun. Troops are how you will make all of your friends. There's forums and there's like Facebook groups. They only do so much. You've got to get out there and do some troops. Genuinely, I've been doing this for about a year now, and I've made some of like who have become now my closest friends through trooping. So that's good. Yeah, trooping puts the play in cosplay, especially for the 501st. Some of the small costume groups can be a little bit looser on what you do when you're in costume, but the 501st, when you're in character, when you're dressed, that's it, you are that character. When your lid is on, it doesn't come off. You're not allowed to break character, you're not allowed to break the magic. It's like the equivalent of seeing Mickey Mouse take his head off at Disneyland. It does not happen. So harder for face characters than for lidded characters, because you, especially if you're like an officer or a general, you just got to just be a dick to people, but not in a dickish way. You just got to be like, I'm genuinely glad that you're excited. I'm excited too, but for right now we have to be assholes for the photograph. And then we're really happy again afterwards. So that's cool. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's a really good way to indulge in that side of things. Just not be yourself for a few hours, which is good fun. I don't like being myself all the time, so let's be someone else for a bit. So let's talk about the standards, because yeah, they're pretty intense. CRLs. I can't really vouch for the Rebel Legion too much, so I'll talk about 501st. CRLs, which is Costume Reference Library. So for every cleared costume, for every costume where someone's done it, made it, and have put it through its paces and written the rules on how to make it, so to speak, it'll be in the reference library. So you've got all of your kind of detachments, so bounty hunters, imperial officers, and then you've got your hierarchy kind of breaks down from there. So inside the bounty hunters, there is every single, I think I got them all in the screenshot, every single bounty hunter that is cleared. Boba has like 8 outfits. Believe it or not, I think that, like, the trooper, there's like, what, 8 different ones, and they can differ ever so slightly from like the number of blue bits on the sides of the face to whether or not there's black on the rim of the helmet. They're very, very particular. Oh, and whether or not they've got a rivet, one rivet in a certain place, things like that. They're very particular about those sorts of things. So depending on which one you want to make, you go to your costume reference library, pick it out. This is the Kylo one. This is my good friend Dawn. Yeah, that's a lady under there. The Kylo Ren CRL is a lady. She's awesome and works really hard to look the part. She's like this tall in costume and stacked, and it's amazing. So you get given a photograph to work from, a turnaround, and then all your costume pieces are broken down even further, so every individual element. So your troopers, and oh my god, Boba's is just, goes on and on and on, because it's like each individual armour part has its own little spec. Kylo's is relatively easy, she says. So you've got all of your basic approval. So to get in, to clear, you've got to meet all the black stuff. And then you've got level 2 and level 3 certification. That's literally just how big your costume dick is. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of, I am level 3 accurate, and everyone goes, ooh. That's it. It doesn't mean anything. It's just how hardcore you want to be and how much you want to suffer, I think. Because a lot of the extra clearance ones are just like, it would be more comfortable if you didn't do this. So putting them in is just suffering and sadness. Rebel Legions, for some reason, this looks completely different. They have no list, so you've got to kind of scroll through everybody and find them. So pick your character, and then theirs is kind of, I haven't been dug around too much to Rebel Legion, to be honest, so I encourage you to have a dig. They've got their specs individually listed out as well in little blocks. So that's one for Resistance Ray. Ray has 2 costumes, so there's 2 costume approval process. Yes, sign up to the website, basically. Go and absorb information and sign up, show your face. Introduce yourself in the members section. Everyone's going to say hi. Everyone's very friendly. A bit scary, a little bit intimidating, but they're lovely people. Once you've decided which costume you want to do, set yourself up a work in progress thread in the correct detachment area. So if you wanted to make a Empire Strikes Back bridge crew officer, you would go to the officers detachment sub-forum, go in there and make your work in progress thread post, bounty hunters for Boba and things like that. Once you've made your work in progress thread, you get assigned an armourer, and armourers are basically dudes or dudettes who know that costume really, really well, and they will help you. You can ask them questions, they will take a look at your work in progress photos and tell you if you're on the right track, or whether you're not on the right track. It's always a good idea to check in with your armour before you do anything, like buy a really expensive thing, or like start cutting up a very expensive thing, just so they can say, whoa, hang on, that's really overpriced, you should try these guys instead. Or what are you doing, why have you cut into, like, why have you made it wrong, basically, because some of the components are quite expensive, so if you start cutting them and making it, and it's wrong, not only have you cut up all your fabric, but you've now wasted all your time sewing it together. Wrong. And then just do it, just start. The scariest part is starting. Take lots of photographs, discuss things with your armourer. There's also various groups that you can sign up to and get everybody's opinion, and everyone will chip in. Once your armourer gives you the green light to submit, you follow the submission procedure. So for the 504, for UKG specifically, that involves going to the little approval section and you send in your photographs, which is basically you in full costume, in T-pose, front, back, left, right, and there's also some costumes require close-ups on certain bits, just so everyone can check, yeah, that's right, that's fine. Even the stuff that no one can see, so for Kylo, they want to see everything underneath the robes, which isn't as exciting as it sounds, because there's about easily 4 or 5 layers to a Kylo Ren. And they want to see all of them, even though no one else will ever see them when you're wearing it, just because. Once you're given the green light by the armourer, you submit it, it then gets sent up the hill to the guy who sits over the entire of the UKG, and he will trust that the armourer, who knows what they're doing, has checked it all over. He'll have a quick look to see if anything glaring pops up, and then he sends it off to 501st, kind of top tier, who just push button, because there's 2 levels of clearance in the UKG, so they know what they're doing. And then you wait and you suffer, because the waiting is the worst part. I waited a long time for my Kylo to get cleared, because I know it was awful. And I waited a long time for my Hux, and then I got told the day before I flew to Celebration, oh sorry, 2 days, that the trousers were wrong. They were wrong, and that was awful. But I was just went a bit mental and just remade them in the night and didn't sleep, and that's fun. A little bit of language, lingo stuff. LMO is your Legion Membership Officer. They're up here somewhere. Your CO is your Commanding Officer for a garrison, so they're underneath them. Your Executive Officer is kind of in there as well, and then you've got your GMLs and GWLs. Your GML, he's the guy you want to talk to. He's the one who kind of, yeah, you can go, you're good. Yeah, so a lot of people think that it's, you know, I've got the high ground and you're shit and you're not getting in, and you're going to post your heart and soul into your work in progress thread. People are going to come along and go, that's wrong, change that, why did you buy that, that's wrong entirely, remake this. That's kind of, to be fair, that you do get feedback like that. It's not great, but they do have a lot of threads to work through, so they will literally just deliver you all the information, and then you've kind of got to look for how to fix that. They will know how to fix that, so just if you do get that kind of feedback, don't be put off by it, just kind of go, okay, you told me it's wrong, how do I make it right? Work with me here. Yeah, it might feel a little bit like just being ripped to pieces, and it's heartbreaking, and yeah, people are just, they seem a little bit asshole-ish. But that's people. Overall, I've had a really, really pleasant experience. There are kind of assholes everywhere, in every fandom. And yeah, people get very, very particular about things. Just don't take it personally. It's intended to be constructive criticism, but yeah, people on the internet can sometimes be quite blunt. So it's actually a lot more like this, and they want you to join. Like, there are nearly 11,000 members because they're just being assholes who don't want people to join. And they're like, no, you're not good enough for us. They want you to be at your top of your game. So like, we're LFL affiliated because the 501st can prove the costumes need to look like they've walked off set. That's how you get the gigs. Legion Firsts, if your character doesn't exist, if there is no CRL, you're in for a tough time because now you have to write your own rules and everybody has to get involved to make sure that you've done it to a way that anyone else can replicate it, that it's not too harsh to get the standards right. So if you wanted to, so like, for example, Dooku in his pajamas from Clone Wars exists. That's a costume you can make, that's legit. But like the guy who wants to buy death sticks, that doesn't exist yet. So if you want to make someone who doesn't exist, you can go for it. It's going to be hard and a bit intense. And it takes a long time, but you will be Legion first. And yeah, that gets quite competitive. The firsts for Jedi Ray, the movie isn't even out yet, and there's at least 4 of them. And the race is currently on for Episode 8 Kylo Ren. So we're going to see who comes out on top there. So yes, why am I here? Where did I go wrong? So yeah, I heard about The Force Awakens coming out. Before Force Awakens, I thought Star Wars was alright. I'd seen the movies, I knew the quotes, it was pretty good. Wasn't fussed about seeing it. I thought, why Disney have bought it, they're just going to make money, it's going to be awful. Watched the teaser, who's this asshole? What's this stupid lightsaber? He looks rubbish. Started watching the movie in about January. Kylo Ren comes off the ship for the first time. Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this. And then it was when he took his helmet off. And yeah, so I was kind of doomed from that point on. And then I left the cinema, literally, I have to make this costume, I have to. And then I looked into how much everything kind of cost. Yeah, Kylo Ren is not a cheap costume. And then I started, just started my build, researching, lots of making notes. I researched the tits of Kylo Ren's costume easily for a month before I started actually doing anything, or buying anything. And then just kind of made a mock-up out of some lovely mint bed sheets, play heats, making pleats. That's 98 individually hand-folded, ironed and sewn pleats, and I wanted to die. Oh, and there were 38 in each sleeve, so that's not including the sleeve pleats. I made my first set out of some curtains because I was too scared to cut into my 40 pounds a metre Kylo Ren fabric. So I made out of curtains, which were 30 pounds for the whole thing. Pleats. Oh, and also this is my first ever costume. I'd never sewn before. I bought a sewing machine and just went for it because you kind of have to, really. Oops. Leather working is fun. I hate it. It's awful. By hand, it's the worst thing ever. And there's my first iteration in curtains. Yay! Looked like shit. Smelled like plastic. It was awful. And then got home after May Expo that year, when there were literally 7 billion Kylo Rens, and I was like, why did they even bother? Everyone else is Kylo Ren, there's no point. But started making the real thing out of the real fabric. Commissioned a helmet because props are scary, so that's my Kylo helmet. It's made out of the toys. So that's a Disney Store front plate from the Disney Store helmet, and the rest of it is the 50 quid kind of replica that you get with all the speaker holes that all got filled in and painted. So getting there, so many layers, it's such a warm costume, it's so claustrophobic. And then you've got to kind of cover it all, you've got to coat it because it's slightly glossy, so that was fun. And then there's our finished Kylo, yeah! And then I got approved with Kylo in October last year. So that is Kylo. And the reason and you get to choose, I will cover it now, the 5-digit number when you kind of submit to the 501st for the first time. You send them a series of, you get to pick 5 numbers, which become your ID number. and the first character that you clear with becomes your prefix to that. So DS is Dark Side Adept, because technically Kylo isn't a Sith, so he's not in the Sith Lord, but he is in the Sith Lord detachment because it's weird. So yeah, DS, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and my fine friend over here is a TK. We don't know why. There's this probably know why they're TKs, but if you're on troops out and about and you hear people refer to the TKs, they mean the Stormtroopers. ID is officers, so my Hux is ID 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Numbers, man. Numbers are hard. So yeah, everything was going so well. Kylo was great, Kylo build was coming along, and yeah, and then I watched the movie a couple more times and got a bit more involved in the fandom, but no, I needed to finish my Kylo. But
you fell in the trash can.
Yeah. So then I just accidentally did that instead as well, and so yeah. So that happened as well. And now I'm the first, first Hux in UK. Only marginally less comfortable. Only marginally, but uncomfortable than wearing padding. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about him. We're not talking about him right now. That's one of my next eventual goals. I just love Star Wars so much, you guys. Yeah. So, my advice, do your research and do your practices. I made 2 Kylos before I made the real thing. I also made a bedsheet Hux, which is great and it's just awful. Do your practicing, get all your notes in, talk to people, start looking up how to make stuff. Be prepared to fail. Oh boy, yes, I've made 2 credits and genuinely I had near breakdowns making credit. I'm still not happy with it, so it's being made again, all of it, again. But every time you make it, every time you go back and you try again, this is just good life advice, by the way. Every time you go back and try it again, you will do it better because you will have learned how not to do it. Oh, a really cool part of joining costuming groups and getting involved in with people who make stuff is that you'll swap skills. If you're willing to learn to do a thing like casting, prop making, sewing, 3D printing, if you have a skill, you will be in demand and people will want to be your friend because people they'll learn how to do one thing really well and that'll be great and they'll be really good at one thing, but then you can provide I can do the leather work for your Jedi belt and things like this, and I can mold you and print you a blaster and all that good stuff. And you'll just kind of make friends with these people and they're happy to teach you their ways. So I got a crash course in mold making and casting the other day, which was really cool. And I'm trying to bestow some sewing knowledge, but I'm also a little bit like, I have no idea what I'm doing, so let's just struggle through this together. Yeah, it's a little bit pay to play. It's not cheap if you want to go for the big stuff. So your average Stormtrooper, you're looking at about £700. That's not including all of the kit you're going to need to actually build it. Because it doesn't turn up like that. And it doesn't turn up fitted to you at all. So you've got to cut it all out. It'll come literally in sheets of just backform plastic. And it's just, here you go, there's a box of shit. Good luck. And you're like, oh, okay. Helmets are a bastard to put together. So we paid someone to do it for us because, effort. Offices as well, that might look really kind of cheap. Well, because it's not, it's just fabric, right? But no, if you wanted to commission, because it's so tailored, it has to be tailored. If it looks baggy and you buy it from China, you're going to have to get it edited to fit you. So I think offices can be anywhere from 500 to about 900 or more, depending on how good you're willing to go. Because people offer different things. Yeah, these guys are the big boys. A Vader and a Boba, you're talking $2,500 to $3,000. and the Vader needs constant maintenance because that shiny helmet needs relacquering. Oh, 3POs, C3PO, we're talking $4,000 with every half year or so you've got to go and get it re-vac metallized because it doesn't look like that for very long. So yeah, if you hate money, don't know if I'm reversed. Yeah, so that's it. Really, really good. If you just want to join, if you just want to get involved, a really good one to start off with is your tie reserve. Because a lot of the pieces that you have to buy, a lot of the bits you've got to invest the money in, you can use for other stuff. So your boots, your belt, and your hat, you reuse those for other things, and then it's just like a boiler suit, basically. But you're still kind of talking about £100 for all the specialist bits and pieces. Unless you can make it yourself. Making things yourself makes things cheaper. Yeah, just think about it. Consider it. The benefits of being one of the many versus one of the few. Stormtroopers look fucking awesome in numbers. Like, the more of you there are, the more badass it looks. The same for your TIE pilots, your scout troopers, all your armor pieces. Basically, if you don't have a name, the more of you there are, the better it looks. It's like 1 Stormtrooper looks awesome, 2 looks amazing, 4 looks better. And yeah, the more there are, the more the merrier. The downside is that, like, if you are 1 TIE pilot on your own, the number of times you'll get people going, I don't know, and you'll just be like, why are you like this? But yeah, so you won't have the, if you're kind of a niche, one of the many, you won't necessarily get as much love. Everybody loves a Stormtrooper. Even if you're on your own, everybody loves a Stormtrooper. But you'll always be able to sign up to troops. Unless they've specified we want first orders, or we only want officers, or whatever, everybody will accept you on a troop. If you are a hero character, so if there's only one of you, so if you're a Kylo or if you're a Boba Fett, there can only be one of you out at any one time. So if there's more than one Boba on a troop, you're going to have to swap, you're going to have to talk amongst yourselves and figure out, oh, I'll take the morning, you take the afternoon, or well, I'm getting a bit tired now, so you can take the rest of the day, or things like that. But you will also get, because you are that one character, everyone will be like, it's you. And all the photos, you know, that's me. That's cool. On face characters as well, that's maybe one of you. If you don't want a costume, you can still do some really cool stuff. So you can make big things. I know some guys who are making a replica Millennium Falcon cockpit. Just as you do. And it's really cool. Yeah, so you can make big things if you don't want to make costumes or small things. You can also make robots. Yes, robot makers are cool. And yeah, like seeing them walking around and rolling around, awesome. The R2 Makers Club is cool. And the BB-8s as well, like actual functioning, rolling around, beeping out in BB-8s. Oh, and mouse droids. Everyone has a mouse droid. So you might be thinking, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too fat, I'm too female. Doesn't matter, they don't care. They literally will, they don't discriminate. If you can't wear lenses for a medical reason, but you want to be Thrawn, they'll let you be Thrawn. Or Palpatine as well. If you are too short for a Stormtrooper, you're too tall for a Stormtrooper. As long as you can make the armour work, still has to look like a Stormtrooper, they'll take you. There are wheelchair troopers, there are blind troopers, deaf troopers. But yeah, basically, they also don't give a shit really what gender you are, so long as you make an effort and look the part. So that's a Krennic and a Kylo, a Hux, a Poe, and an Ezra, and another Hux and Thrawn. So you've got Blue Alien, you've got 6'2" Ginger Noodle Boy, you've got, yeah, Poe Dameron. Ezra is like a 12-year-old boy, and Kylo is a 6'3" Hulk. And Krennic is an old man, but like, these are all just young girls, women, and they're all, you know, approved and awesome, and you make an effort, get involved. If you're keen, they'll take you. Bought versus made, that's kind of a big thing in cosplay. Some reasons, some people get really kind of shitty with you if you bought your costume. Yeah, whoever first doesn't care. If you just want a costume, if you just want to buy it, awesome, do it. They won't care. If you want to make it, awesome, even more awesome. You can learn a skill at the same time. Is this a recruitment drive? Yes, kind of. If you hear what I'm saying and you want to join in, that would be great. The more the merrier. But so, I mean, like, it's more than just putting on some armour and walking around and collecting money. Like, you make friends and go places, do things that you would never have otherwise done. The best way to describe what Star Wars means to me is with a kind of short video. Oh my god, I'm talking really quickly, for so much time. So basically this is from, I take no credit for this video, this is from Star Wars' official channel, and it's the highlights from Star Wars Celebration 2017, so in April. And this is basically, this is why I do what I do, because it's awesome. And you rock up, whether you're 501st or not, if you just love Star Wars, and you just, all of a sudden, there are 70,000 people who are just like, family. You're one of us. You're with us. It's awesome. It's great. So yes, hopefully this will work. Ooh, can I full screen? It's the future. Be proud of this one.
The Force is what gives the Jedi its power. It's an energy created by all living things.
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi as a father.
Ray, may the Force be with you.
Force, the Jedi. It's all true.
Just breathe.
Welcome to Star Wars Celebration in Orlando.
I'm so excited, it's gonna be amazing.
I've been waiting for Celebration all year long.
I'm just a ball of excited, nervous energy.
This year marks the 40th anniversary of Star Wars.
40 years.
The Force is strong in my family.
Please welcome George Lucas.
Does that always happen when you walk into a room?
I'm always stunned at the passion that has lasted all these years.
We've got George Lucas here, C-3PO, Lando Calrissian, Chewbacca, and Luke Skywalker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Harrison Ford. It doesn't get much more epic than this.
The greatest composer, conductor in the universe, John Williams.
My mom used to say she never knew where Princess Leia ended and Carrie Fisher began.
She was that character. Very strong, very smart, and very funny.
She will be remembered forever.
PS4 Pro.
Impossible.
Disney Parks and Star Wars, does anything go better together?
There's like one huge event every day that just makes it amazing.
Please give a round of applause for our cast of Star Wars Rebels.
These guys have actually been cosplaying Rebels since before Rebels was on. So this is where I have to tell you, Season 4 is the final season of Star Wars Rebels.
May the Force be with you.
Star Wars Celebration is awesome and I never want to go home.
Use the force, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my god, on the floor and buying stuff. Lots of stuff.
Star Wars got me through like the last 2 years of my life. Like it's such a huge part of who I am.
So pumped for it. Yeah. My first con ever, and I'm ready.
Your first one?
Yeah. What are you most excited for this Last Jedi panel?
I just want to see Ryan Johnson in the flesh.
Hello! I want to come by and say hi to everybody. I will go through the entire line.
I'm crying thinking about how I'm going to see this trailer.
It was in line at 4 o'clock.
Is there a second on there?
We've been here for over 24 hours.
Reach out. What do you see?
Can we zoom out?
Well, it's good to be back, eh?
BB-8, ladies and gentlemen!
You are now a part of the Star Wars universe. Ryan, do you have anything for the fans?
This is a trailer! What are you talking about? Of course!
It's time for the Jedi to end.
I can't believe what I just saw. It was the best thing ever.
I've got to go watch this trailer like 300 times and then watch it again another 300 times.
I can never get over the fans. They're more supportive than my actual family.
Because there's nobody like Star Wars fans in the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My heart is pounding. Thank you so much.
We had the best time.
So I'm very happy to be part of it.
John Williams.
That was
Total surprise.
It was wonderful. I cried the whole time. Oh, this is crazy. There's always a new adventure for us to go on.
It gets bigger and better every year.
All of you are part of the Lucasfilm family. You are the most important part.
When you see all these little kids, when you see the look on their face, this is what I did it for.
Star Wars Celebration is but yeah. Star Wars is awesome. And costuming is awesome. And I highly encourage everyone to give it a go. And even if you don't, that's still fine. You're still a Star Wars family. And that's cool too. So, why not being a thing? Yeah. Yay! So, that's it. I'm done. Yay! Two things. First thing, I'm doing a Star Wars meet-up tomorrow at 12 near the stairs-ish. It's probably about the big stairs area, the bit that's just to the left of that, where the rampy bits are, and the bubble tea. That's probably where it'll be. Also, this event, vote-y thing, like if you wanted to vote for this event, that would be cool. I appreciate it. Anyone have any questions about stuff? Yes, you're going to troll me.
Oh.
Pretty much the historical, the gun making and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because at the moment I'm waiting for my gun to come, and I just want to know what do we get for a primer, because the most movie printed, so I know that's going to be definitely the primer and sanded and so on.
Yes.
What about the weapon? What do you do for the weapon?
We've not really done much in the way of, I've not done much in the way of webbing myself, because a Stormtrooper blaster is like, you paint it grey, you paint it black. Done. There's a little bit of silver in it, but that's about it. If you hit me up after this, I can point you in the direction of a guy who knows his stuff. And basically it's like, you prime, you sand, you prime, you sand some more, and you get finer and finer and finer until all the striations are gone, and then, yeah, painting, lettering, I can hook you up. I know people. So this is the best thing. If you don't know how to do a thing, find people who do, and then they can show you how to do it. So, yeah. Cool. Tom.
How many Darth Vaders are there?
Ooh. I don't like in the world.
As in the official groups and such.
Vader is popular. I'll admit that the price tag it keeps him a little bit exclusive. I know 3, 4 in kind of the northeast area alone. Not all of them are UKG. But yeah, Vader is very popular. So
is he the most
thankfully,
popular, or is there a most popular?
that one. That's very. More often than not, if you're in the group, you've got a trooper. Even if it's just like, I'm going to put my trooper on for a laugh when I'm done being Greedo, when I'm done being this, that, or the other. Yeah, troopers are really popular. Again, because you can just put it on and there's more of you and it's more fun. I also think that officers, they're quite popular because they're really comfy. It's just a nice suit that you wear. It can be a bit warm, but other than that, yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes?
You said the costume took a while to get through. How long is a while?
How long is a piece of string? Usually, so my Hux work in progress was a couple of months while I built it. So that was just slow because I was slow. And I wanted every step of the way to get kind of like, yeah, you're good, you're good, you're good. Because all of my fabric I had to import from America. So I was like, I want to cut this once. I don't have to order more, wait longer, import tax, and then do it again. But once it's in, so once your armour has greenlit you and you're in, again, your mileage may vary. About 2 weeks, they're pretty good. And you'll find out whether or not, more often than not, it's a, yeah, you're good. Unless your GML kind of goes, trousers are wrong. Why? Why have you done this to me? 2 months and the trousers were fine. So yeah, it can be quite quick. It's just the work in progress. The longer you take, the better, usually, because then you know you're going to be hopefully good. But yeah. Yes? Had one.
You went to the celebration.
Yes.
How much did tickets for that cost?
Close your ears. He doesn't know what it costs. I just I wasn't going to go, and then I went to the one in London, and it was awesome. And then peer pressure from all the costume groups were like, "What you should come to the celebration?" I was like, "I really didn't want to. It's going to be really expensive. You should come. You should come. You should come." and then I did. So tickets for the con itself, it's a 4-day con, and it's about $100, $150. So not too bad. Flights were £800, no. Hotel was $500, and then I went to Disney World. So. When I was in Orlando, I was like, I'm going to Disney World. I went for 2 days, and it was like the happiest but most sad 2 days. Because you're like, this is amazing, but I'm here for like no time. Yes.
After Disney did the whole half of the Star Wars fiction no longer exists.
Yes.
How are characters from that allowed? Or
yes, they are legacy characters.
Yeah.
So until he came back, Thrawn was a legacy character. He's the blue dude with red eyes. Grand Admiral Thrawn, and also Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker's missus. So there, because she was in the comics, so there's visual you have to have at least 3 references as well. Visual references before you can start a character approval. So because Mara's in the comics, she has a visual, you can get her approved. So you can still make and troop with them, but they're classed as legacy, and that's in their own kind of detachment. Except for Thrawn, who's an officer, it gets really weird. But yeah, so you can still do that. You can also make characters from the games, like Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that, so that's cool. The only things you can't really do are like, I made my original character from the MMO. It's like, no, sorry, don't want that. Yes?
Has anyone ever tried to do a Force Ghost?
I don't know. I'm going to have to check the CRL now. CRL listings and see if anyone's done There was a really cool guy at Celebration who did, you know when Vader he's just been like fucked up and Luke takes half his helmet off? That. So he was like scarred, he had like vape stuff coming off, he was like smouldering. And yeah, he looked gnarly. Which was probably a lot easier because you have to get physically bolted into a Vader helmet. They screw it on. If you want to take your helmet off, it takes about 15 minutes and at least like maybe 2 people to get out of a Vader. So if you're claustrophobic, don't buy a Vader. Yes?
Oh, sorry.
From Rick in the back.
Alright, so in terms of the crew,
Yes.
you've always kind of how restrictive is it? Do they have kind of a set list of costumes for it? Because
How do you mean crew? Like crewing on a troop or officers?
sort of crewing the troop. So you saw showed 2 pictures with the guys with the holding buckets. Yeah. So it's kind of like.
Well, if you're very mobile, so
Yeah.
if you've got a costume that lets you move and you can see, so if you've got no helmet, if the actual crew are a bit thin on the ground, you can carry a bucket. I know a lot of troopers. If there's tons of troopers. A couple of troopers sometimes just grab a bucket and wander off on their own.
Right.
So if they're quite experienced and they're still within sight of a person who can make sure they haven't like been bullied by small children. So yeah, so you can do that. But as for just crewing, basically, and I can only speak for the UKG and 99. You sign up once you're ready to start crewing. You just order yourself a T-shirt and it's got a logo on it. And you wear that, and until that arrives, if you want to crew in the interim, just black T-shirt, no logos on, and then you basically just walk around going, I'm with them. But it's great because you just get to just kind of go out of the way, Vader's coming through, and everyone's like, shit. So that's cool. Yes.
Nino?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm assuming that you're going to do the new version of Kylo at some point from the 8th movie, but
Yes.
What is your next one
going to
going to be?
I'm just not going to make it for me first. I'm going to make it for my Kylo senpai, who's helped me a lot, and he wants to do Episode 8 Kylo. He's the one building a Millennium Falcon, so he's kind of like a bit busy. Can he help me? So yeah, I'm making one, but I don't want to wear it because I've got to feel it. I'm not too keen on it myself. And I also think he's going to spend a lot of the time without a helmet, and I don't make a very good Kylo Ren without a helmet on. So, but
no.
Were you good at this or anything else?
So what was the next costume you're thinking of making then?
I would like to remake and clear Krennic, because Krennic is amazing. I love him very much. I also am really taken with Shore Troopers, the Scarif Troopers. They are a really comfortable, if you're going to go on, like, they're pretty comfortable because they've got like these harem pants, these MC Hammer trousers on. So that's cool. I was a bit annoyed that they brought out new troopers and also here's these guys as well on the beach because let's have 2 for no reason. So yeah, possibly Shore Trooper, Krennic. The list gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's best to just stop. And I'm also I'm helping make a Rey, 2 Reys. So that's fun. For Tom again.
I've got a lot of questions.
You do.
Is there a Jabba the Hutt?
There is. It's not a person. It's like the speeders and stuff.
Yeah.
They just bring them on. At Celebration, there was a really good Jabba all laid out, and the slave Leias did a meet for a photo shoot, and there were about 40 or 50 slave Leias. And the Mandalorian mercs, which is basically all the Mandalorians, because you've got Boba Fett and Jango Fett, but also you can kind of make original the character Mandalorian and join the Mandalorian mercs. They basically were the honor guard for the Leias, which was amazing. So you had all of these slave Leias, and the Mandalorians, these big dudes, some of them in actual like steel plate mail armor, were just like absolutely no creepers. Get the fuck out. It was amazing. They were like bodyguards for the Leias, and that was really cool. Yes. Chris?
So the Death Stick guy.
Yes.
What are the references for him outside of the one scene that he's in? Is there any?
He's got a toy. He's got an action figure. There's that, and there's the movie. So there is scope. I'm thinking about. There's another one. I kind of want to make Sleaze Bagano, Ella Sleaze, because he's.
Please, someone beat her to it.
No! I want to make another ridiculous coat that's going to be really uncomfortable. Yes.
What's the best place to go to start like contact with groups? So like do Spacewalk or is
Facebook is good. The public Facebook pages are more kind of for PR and here's where we're going to be. Jump on the website, have a look through what's available there. There's like the forums and stuff. Introduce yourself, say hi. If you're not sure what costume you want to make, even just like if you have a general idea, then people can steer you in the right direction. They can tell you how much things are going to cost. They can start giving you links to where to start looking for resources for stuff. Get to know people there. Also, if you can attend events where they're going to be with tables and talk to people face to face. Avoid the costumers because they're in character, and sometimes when you say things like, hey, where'd you get your costume from? Oh, well, this was an Imperial, blah, blah, blah. I got given it on the Death Star. But I got given it because it's part of my uniform for my job, blah, blah, blah. Like, where'd you get your uniform from? Talk to me like a person. Yes, just talk to people, get stuck in. The 99th are super friendly if you're in the northeast and Midlands way. That's another thing. The local groups, they're not as wide-reaching. I mean, even the UKG is very southern. We're getting more people up north, but it's a slow process. Yeah, let's get stuck in, start talking to people. Forum, I would say. Yes. That's it. Cool. Well, yes, I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for hearing.